Murfreesboro. Speech award. I plan not to ever repeat the performance, so I won't try to keep you too long. I apologize that I don't, not in a suit and tie. We had a, thank you. We had a parade in Elkhorn and a picnic in Bellevue and a couple other things after I was here this morning at the Family Caucus, or the Working Families Caucus. So, anyhow, again, thanks. What a tremendous turnout. Thank you all for showing up today and for building this party in what is obviously a historic year. This is one of those years that probably only comes around every 40 or 50 years. And certainly there's a lot of comparisons to 1968. And if they do come around in those cycles, I'll be 70 years old the next time one comes around. And to be honest, well, thanks to LD9 in our caucuses, along with realizing that this is an historic race, I really had to take a hard look at running again, because I knew that the effort that we had last time, that we had a great chance, a great shot, and that I truly believe that there was a unique opportunity. But it does take a tremendous amount of effort and work, and it takes a tremendous amount of effort and work on your part. And and running against a 10-year incumbent is no easy task, as you all know. Lee Terry has talked a lot lately about that Obama-Terry vote. Now, if you do find one of those people, I would like to meet him. I think maybe we can convince him otherwise. The other thing he talks about is he claims that we need the right kind of change. I don't know what he exactly means by that. 2 years ago, we were probably a little ahead of ourselves. We talked about change the theme of this year was the theme we used in '06. And the thing that I've come to realize by watching this presidential race and my own race is clearly that we do need change. I mean, this country is on a dangerous course with a failing economy and rising energy prices and food costs. I mean, things, healthcare in shambles. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, people always ask me, what are the big issues? Well, I always felt sadly nothing's changed in the last 2 years. Maybe the priority of those issues have shifted, but really we've seen no progress. And so it's clear to me that while we need change, we need the right sort of leaders. And this country, I still believe in greatness of this country. I believe we can accomplish anything we want to set our minds to. We don't have to look at that distant past to realize that. A lot of times we don't talk to students, and I'll tease them because, of course, they don't want to listen to a guy like me, and they're on their cell phones texting with friends. And so I'll kind of call them out and say, those cell phones that you're not supposed to be playing with right now? The technology in the cell phones is more sophisticated than the technology we use to put a man on the moon. And as I'm sure a lot of you have seen Ted Sorensen up there, I mean, it took the right sort of leadership. It took somebody like Kennedy to have the vision for us to have the Apollo program. And then I think back a little bit further to the greatest generation. And this fact always blows me away. In 1939, we had the 18th largest armed forces in the world. 18th largest. We were behind Danby or something. I'm not sure who it was. By the end of World War II, we were the greatest fighting force to ever exist. We did more and accomplished more than anyone ever in the history of the world had. But it took the right sort of leaders. It took people like FDR. It took the generals we had. It took people like Eisenhower. It took people that were willing to challenge us to sacrifice. I look at this war, and apparently our patriotic duty was just to spend more money. And I can't think of a single thing I've sacrificed for this war. And I have friends that are fighting Iraq, and I know the sacrifices they're making. And I look at a guy like Richard Carter, who I ran against the primary, who made sacrifices to defend this country. And so, to me, it clearly comes down to leadership. And I believe we can do it. I believe if we want to have the best healthcare program in the world, we can have it. But it takes the right sort of leaders. I believe that we want to be energy independent, and we want to have a great economy, and we want to be less dependent on foreign oil so we don't have to go fight these wars. We can do that, but it takes the right sort of leadership. I think that if we want to save Social Security, we want to ensure that everybody, regardless of their race, gender, or ability, or sexual orientation, whatever it is, whatever opportunities that we want to provide for everyone, we can do those things, but it's going to take the right sort of leadership to do that. And more importantly, it's going to take the right sort of leadership to get the economy back on track. I mean, that or the war is probably going to be the biggest issue facing us. And, we can do it. We can rebuild the middle class. We can reinvest in our infrastructure, both transportation and energy. We can do what we did with the Transcontinental Railroad and with the telegraph, the interstate highway system. And we've done these things again and again in our past, but it takes the right sort of leaders. And I would say clearly from our district, we have not had that sort of leadership.